I made this work in New Mexico. Being New Mexico with sort of zero humidity, this kind of high desert, the gel medium dried overnight. And I think if I'd attempted to make a work like this in a humid environment, the sugar probably would have dissolved and become like a syrup. It was a kind of a very fortunate series of events that enabled this piece, I think, to sort of finally come together. I'm Timothy Horn. I'm one of the artists in the exhibition Fairy Tales. I'm a sculptor. I work with materials like bronze and glass and more unconventional materials like transparent rubber and crystallized rock sugar. In 2008, I had the opportunity to make some work for an exhibition at the De Young Museum in San Francisco. And during that visit, the curators continued to mention a woman called Alma Spreckels. And doing some research afterwards, I discovered that Alma was the patron of the Legion of Honor, the sister museum in San Francisco. So Alma, in her own life, went from near poverty to acquiring status and wealth. Alma had married one of the richest men in the world, Adolf Spreckels, whose fortune came from sugar cropping. But she also built this fabulous mansion, and when the mansion was complete, she sent out invitations to all the fancy families in San Francisco, inviting them to a housewarming party. And none of them came. They all snubbed her. It was at that point that she decided to turn her back on that element of society. Her interest in art led her to this journey of collecting art and building a museum for that art and then handing that over as a gift to California. Talking with the curators and the research that I did on Alma, I decided I wanted to make a carriage which symbolised something of that sense of transformation. And I also thought that sugar should be a big part of the work that I made. The body of the carriage is made of plywood and the chassis is steel. The wheels have a steel profile. When the form was complete, all the Rococo scrolling, I painted the form with gesso to give it a uniformity. And then in order to attach the sugar to that form, I painted it again with acrylic gel medium and then flocked the sugar onto the form. Being an artist, I spend a lot of my time in my own little world, in my own kind of realm. And it is my job to tap into imagination and kind of tap into a very sort of intuitive place. And so a lot of that kind of goes back to childhood freedom, that inhibition, untainted and sense of freedom you feel as a child.